we have to create the right vibe, the energy, and everybody at the organization has to feel so privileged to be here. It's no other way.
Thanks for listening to the Purely Arsenal podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at Purely Arsenal FP for all the latest Arsenal podcasts.
Welcome back to another edition of a Purely Arsenal sit-down podcast. We're here to review the bashing of Ipswich Town. Down you go. And to review the 5-1 bashing of Real Madrid as well. Got to talk a little bit about that as well. Bashing everyone. Hopefully that continues. Neil Shah with me. How you doing, Neil?
Hello, Jack. Hello. Yeah, it's been a while, isn't it? So just glad to be back. And what a time to be back. Momentous, historic time of our club's history. Come on, let's do it. And we're ready for this.
Yeah. Big things to play for. James Johnstone with us as well. James, how you doing?
Yeah, good morning. Good to be back. Yeah, happy to be here with you both and discussing what's been a good week. I know, the rumours of you only pod when you're winning. It's somewhat true here, but no, you have been holding the fort with everything you say. I know how difficult it can be trying to make videos and what have you by yourself. I'm not a fan of it at all, but yeah, you handle it way better than I do. So yeah, thank you for continuing. And it's good that we've got some time here where the three of us can get together and do something. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
No, yeah. Actually, usually that is the reason. It hasn't been this time. It's just been too much going on around the house and stuff like that. But it is good to be back. Very, very good to be back. We've had a little bit of patchy form in the Premier League, so it is good to be back to winning ways. But we certainly haven't had that in the Champions League. But obviously, we had a huge game in midweek, which we'll get to. Brilliant away win at the Bernabeu. God, I tell you, when Real Madrid come up against us, they must hate playing us now. Must absolutely hate it. I had one of their fans tweet me today, tell me about how they haven't beaten any big team this season. I went, good point. You beat Man City twice. Well done. Very good. Well, I like that. Goodbye. It was that fantastic win, and we will get to that midweek. But for this game, I was nervous for this game, but we've been looking over our shoulder a little bit towards the chasing pack, if you want to call it that. Obviously, there's been a little gap there, but I did look at this game thinking, especially this one and Palace, if we look at them in a block, if we can win these, we're almost there in terms of Champions League qualification. Not fully, but almost there, and that might be really handy for us when it comes to the semi-final games, and who knows, maybe beyond that, in terms of those games and being able to rotate in between those and things like that. Whereas, PSG are able to do it because League One's over, before it begins every season. So, in terms of this lineup, James, what were your thoughts on him going far stronger than he went in the last two Premier League games against Everton and Brentford? I don't remember the lineups off the top of my head, but he rotated a lot more. He didn't start the likes of Saka and players like this. Went really, really strong here. A couple of rotations with Ben White and, at full-back and things like that. But other than that, really strong. So what were your thoughts on that? And what were your thoughts on how he set up the midfield? Maybe a sign of things to come in the semi-final?
Yeah. I think you're spot on in what you said there, midfield-wise. That was the big change for me. And I was like looking at that thinking, that's probably... what's the best way to sort of put it? A dress rehearsal, perhaps. Obviously, they're not the quality of what we're going to face against PSG, but he's probably looking at that going, when am I going to get very apt opportunities to put Declan Rice maybe in that 6, put Renault back in that 8? I think in terms of the league, that's probably, I think I saw it on Twitter, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was maybe the third or the fourth time this season that Moreno, Rice and Odegaard have actually done that together as a 3. Yeah, I think it's about the fourth time he's been able to do it. And it's going to show. I mean, Neil come on my channel with me a few weeks back, and we spoke about Moreno and how even when we played Everton, he's showing now what he can do from that 8 position. He's so full of beans and confidence that you can drop him back into the midfield now, and he's showing himself as a midfielder. Now, I know people will go, oh yeah, but that's only Everton and it's only, Ipswich. They're not two of the most glaring sides in the division. But at the same point, I'm like, well, we can only play what's in front of us. And, he's performing and excelling at a higher level. I mean, this is a guy that got 2 assists and a goal against Real Madrid in the Champions League, playing in the position that he's not familiar in. So I don't really care what people have to say about Moreno at the moment, because he's been a fantastic player. But yeah, the midfield, I liked what he did there, and obviously he got proven right. And then, yeah, the 2 fullback changes for me, you know way more than I do, Jack, medical wise, but you had to rotate it. You know, you can't keep playing Timber for these 90 minutes, even though he's a superb player. You know, you're looking at him for 35 million thinking, blimey, what a steal he's been. He was absolutely fantastic. I know you're going to touch on the Real Madrid later, but yeah, he just, in both those legs, was sublime. And then Lewis Skelly for Zinchenko. Zinchenko's been primarily played as a midfielder, but yeah, he moved him back into left back. And yeah, you know, it's Ipswich Town. They're one of the bottom 3. They're pretty much guaranteed to probably go down now. They're so far behind Wolves. So that's a game you maybe can get away with playing Zinchenko at left back, even with his frailties there. And Trossard up top. That was a change you were going to make because you're dropping Moreno in. And yeah, he scored his 2 goals, and he's looking, you know, he's looking way livelier than he has done for a very long time. So yeah, no, had no problem with the changes at all. Was the only thing that did shock me was that he did start Saka. I thought he'll give Saka a rest as well, but nah. I mean, look what happened when you played Saka. All right, he didn't score on the day, but he absolutely tore him to smithereens. That's first half. So yeah. But no real complaints from me.
No, me neither. I actually thought he might go strong. I think he might go strong midweek as well, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. But I have a kind of feeling about that, especially as we're not playing at the weekend. Because if you don't, you're basically saying 2 weeks off for a lot of players almost, you know what I mean? And I don't think he'll want that. So I think he will go strong. And also, I think in the last couple of games in the league where we've dropped points, we've brought on the cavalry, if you like, when we've been at, yeah, and it's not actually made a difference. In fact, even at times we've conceded with them coming on. So I think sometimes it's just better to, you know, go with them from the start, and then, you know, this game was won after 30 minutes, let's be honest, and then you can take them off as and when you feel like it, you know. And I think sometimes, not always, but sometimes that is the way to go. Obviously you can't always do that if players aren't fresh and things like that. You can't get that amount of energy out of them. But Neil, what were your thoughts? I mean, I thought we started, you know, Ipswich have only won 1 game at home, so obviously it's a game we should win, obviously. But I think out of all the bottom 3 that are going to go back down, I think Ipswich have shown themselves to be at least competitive in games that I've seen anyway. Like even, you know, when they came to the Emirates, it was quite a difficult 1-0 victory, wasn't it? It wasn't like we were finding things that easy. I think that was just after we'd lost a big attacker, Saka, someone else, maybe not. Who knows who it was? We lose one every week. But they you know, I thought we started really clean, really crisp. I mean, the red card, people might say this game was home. We were home and dry before that red card, to be honest. And I thought we started so crisp with our movement, and I was really encouraged by that, because we haven't seen Rice and Marino in the midfield and this midfield trio that much. We all thought at the start of the season this was going to be our starting midfield, and yet Thomas Partey's played the most minutes out of everyone, I think. So it's, you know, it's kind of refreshing to see that type of midfield. And also, we need to have an idea for what Trossard's going to be like up front, don't we, Neil? Because there's a good chance that that we're going to have to use that, especially with some of the midfielders and suspension issues we've got, and the way our season's going, you know, in terms of injuries and things like that. We've got to be adaptable, you know, and he's shown us to be that. But we really haven't seen Trossard too much in the 9 in recent weeks. I know we did it against Everton. So were you quite encouraged by that setup and the way we were playing? Because I thought that first 25-30 minutes we were fantastic.
Yeah, really encouraged. Go start with Trossard. He just seems to be back to himself. He was smiling a lot and he was really happy. If you notice, after both these goals, he was laughing and joking with the players. And I thought, I've not seen that for a while. So I think he's probably comfortable again, whatever issues he may have had, if any, because we don't know. They seem to be addressed. And I thought that's probably one of his best performances in that position, wouldn't you say? I think he was very, very good. It was causing Ipswich a lot of problems throughout the game. But and Marino, I mean, he's turned out to be a dream for Arteta, because Arteta seems to like these kind of players that play in different positions. And he's found effectively a very good number 9, in my opinion, and also he's doing the job as a number 8. Now, again, we can't get too carried away because it is just Ipswich, and normally I do say, with all due respect, but I'm not going to give them any. Sorry. It is just Ipswich. However, you still only play what's in front of you. So I was very impressed with both those players, but Odegaard as well. I thought he's stepped up. I thought he was allowed a little bit of extra space, I believe, yesterday by them, because you're right. At least they're competitive. At least they're trying to go for it. But that gave us a little bit of space, especially on the right, where I think most of our attacks were coming from, especially in the first half. So, all three of them, I thought, played really well, which, of course, then Saka's always going to be Saka, isn't he? And he was dominating a lot of stuff with Odegaard down that right-hand channel, and they were causing them lots and lots of problems. So I agree. I don't think the red card made any difference at all. I think even if with 11, we probably would have still won by about 3 or 4 goals anyway. I don't think that made any difference. With it happening, obviously it gave us a slight advantage. But the game was done, I think, even before that for me. There was only ever going to be one outcome. But I was just really pleased to see that we have got a way that we can rotate with effect, rather than just rotate for rotate's sake, if that makes sense. I think that all the players were buoyed probably by that Real Madrid result. And also one other good thing is we always tend to lapse after a European game, don't we? There's always some type of hangover. And I didn't see that this time. I just felt that they were really buzzing. And it's almost as if they were looking forward to the semi-final. It's just that impression I got from all of them. But a tremendous performance. I really enjoyed it. It was one of those ones where we weren't pressurized. I mean, we didn't, as fans, we didn't feel tension, didn't feel anxiety, and they just gave us a nice, sweet game to watch. And I was really worried for Saka, but thankfully, I think he'll be okay. But yeah, it was a great first half, especially, and a good match to watch.
Yeah. I mean, if we talk about the first 2 goals, Jay, I mean, Saka was at the heart of all of it. I think Odegaard as well deserves some credit as well in this game. I mean, we've been very critical of Odegaard, and I've been very critical. He's my favourite player, and I've been quite critical of him, to be honest, in the last few months. But I think I've started to see in the last couple of games, even the Real Madrid away game to a degree, some slight green shoots just with the way he's manipulating the ball, the way he's moving the ball. He just seems to be a little bit quicker with his movement. I still think he gets a little bit over the physicality of him is not quite where it was, because he didn't get pushed off the ball quite as much as he did this season as he last season and previous seasons. But I felt in this game, he was really, really comfortable on the ball. But Saka was at the heart of everything. I mean, those 2 goals, they weren't created directly from him because of, silly assist rules. But I think we created 2.55 XG in this game, and 1.39 came from Saka and Saka alone. So, that's kind of saying where a lot of those chances either came directly from or fell to. Obviously, he missed some big chances too. But I thought he was fantastic in that early portion of the game. But those 2 goals, James, if you want to touch on them, it was really good to see Trossard and Martinelli get on a score sheet together, really.
Yeah, I mean, again, like Neil was saying, two players there that you want to get back on form, because you've seen with Trossard and even with Martinelli especially, a couple of seasons ago, what he had like a nearly 20 in GA, didn't he? I think it was like 15 goals or something, and a couple of assists. So you need your players to get back to that level, especially when you've got no out and out striker. There's been portions of the season where our top scorer has been our centre back. So, you want your attacking players to contribute as much as you can. And Saka, I mean, coming off the injury that he had, again, you're way more versed in this stuff than I am, medical-wise, to explain. But the levels that he's putting in, and you can tell that he's not, to me, he's still not 100%. But I'm like, even him at 70 or maybe 65 is still better than pretty much any of these other, wingers that are out there. And, there's a lot of them that continuously argue that this guy is not world class. And I'm like, well, he clearly is, because he's done it midweek against Real Madrid, and he still gives you it at places like Ipswich at the weekend. And he just, like I said earlier, he just absolutely terrorised them that first half. They just couldn't handle him, and it took someone getting so wound up and nearly trying to break his ankle in two that, you know. And then even after that, still didn't stop him, still didn't curtail the guy. So, yeah, just what a player he is. But, yes, the Trossard goal, really nice finish. Odegaard obviously getting a touch from Saka to take the assist away from him.
Crazy that gives him the assist, isn't it?
Yeah, but, the rules are the rules, I guess. And then, yeah, the Martinelli one, that to me is, and I've mentioned it on here many, many times before, that, Arsene Wenger, wherever he's watching, has got a smile on his face, because that's the routine, football that I was brought up on as a child in the 90s and the early 2000s. It's just a fantastic move. And Moreno, like we said a couple of weeks ago, he's probably not got the confidence in the world to try something like that, to flick that ball on like that to Martinelli. And it's such a good goal. And you could see straight away. I mean, Saka, after the goal goes in, he doesn't run to Martinelli. He runs to Moreno first to basically congratulate him on the flick, and then they all embrace. And like we mentioned, it was just a good day out. It was something that we need, to go with the euphoria of beating Real Madrid, to go play Ipswich and then have more euphoric moments like that. It was just what the doctor ordered, really, for the club and for the fans. So, two really, really good goals, really well taken goals as well.
Yeah, some credit to Zinchenko as well for the first one, because he was the one that sort of played that ball into Odegaard, wasn't he? Kind of split them open, really. I mean, it was poor from Ipswich because he was in so much space, Odegaard. But I've kind of liked the way Zinchenko's spoken recently as well, because I felt he's one player that we could lose, when you're not playing him as much, because, I don't know, ego and being at Man City and the wage that he's on. But he's really talked quite highly about any minutes that he's been able to get at the club. I don't know if he's just saying that, but he has talked quite.
He knows he's not getting that wage anywhere else. He's like, come on. He's like, renew. He's like, I could get a year or two extra. I could get an extra option here, please. He's like, please renew me. No, it's true. He's on a hefty wage, so he's definitely getting paid for his minimal minutes that he's getting. But I thought he did fine as well. Marino's come to some level. It's weird, isn't it? Because last time we spoke, I mean, we definitely saw Marino as an option because we'd seen him, but now what's quite encouraging in this game, Neil, is he's looking really effective in the position that we bought him to be in, and we've not seen him in that position enough. It's not necessarily his fault, but we've not seen him play his fourth game, isn't it, in as this midfield trio. Maybe he's played a couple more there when Rice has sat down, but really, really encouraging. He just looks like such a confident player at the moment, Neil, because, I mean, he's doing so much from the centre forward position, 2 assists at the Bernabeu in midweek. But even without those assists at the Bernabeu, his link-up play, when he knowing when to drop in, his ability to be able to press, even though clearly he's not an athlete like Kai Havertz is, but understanding that role and understanding how he can, link up play better with us. He's really provided an option there for us, which is incredible, really, because I think when we first started out, when we put Marino up, we kind of said it tongue-in-cheek a little bit, but he's really providing a true option for us, and his stats are saying it. I think he's got almost 15 goals and assists this season in all comps, and I mean, he hasn't played, let alone centre forward, he's not played that much until recently, so he deserves a lot of credit, and so does Arteta as well, really, because he's the one that's repurposed him. But fantastic, Neil.
It's just wonderful to see someone change and adapt so quickly as well at the highest level of football. Certainly, if you take the Champions League into consideration, and to play against very, very difficult teams, and to produce performances like that, it's just insane, really, if you think about it. Considering he's only played the number 9 position once in his life at the age of number 9, I think it was, ironically, or 8 or whatever, how old he was, and then to take this position with so much aplomb, and that everyone's going to be looking at you in that position as well as a fan base. That you're one of the first positions that are going to get kind of dissected and analysed, and to have that pressure on you, let alone what you do on the pitch. He's just magnificent. His awareness, his positional play. Like you said, he might not have the physicality of Kai Havertz, who incidentally might be coming back sooner than we think. I don't think he gets into the team with Marino playing the way he is, to be fair. So he's got to earn his spot. So that's really nice to see that with all the injuries that we've suffered, decimated by injuries, we haven't done that badly. We haven't had a bad season, if you think about it. We could have capitulated in a terrible way and been out of everything. At least we're still in the Champions League. And it's, at least, I know no one remembers the runners-up, but we've got a really good chance. I think we will. I think we'll finish second. And that's 3 seasons on the trot, on the bounce, against probably 2 of the best teams in the last 10 years, really, Liverpool and Man City. So, you can't say we haven't done well. The Premier League has been disappointing, but considering what we've been through and the officiating, which we won't I won't go on about today. We all know how we are with that and where we stand with it. But considering all those constraints and challenges, we've done really well. And to find a player like Marino, who now can play in both, which is really handy considering, what Partey has done. I think that was a really, really silly thing he done at the game at the Bernabeu. It's comforting because we were thinking, what are we going to do now against PSG? Well, we got our answer. We got the guy that we brought in for anyway, and he's doing it really well. And don't worry about a number 9 because second leg he'll be back in that position. So Partey will return. I think it's tremendous to have that depth now in the squad when actually we could have been completely blighted. So I'm really pleased for him. I'm pleased for Kibio as well, because I like to give him a shout for what he's done recently. And you got a plethora of players that we can choose from to see how they have adapted to which could have been very, very difficult situations. But yeah, Marino's fucking brilliant. It's just so outstanding for me. And just those the second goal as well. You mentioned Zinchenko the second one. I think Saliba was very similar as well. He crossed it, and Trossard, wasn't it, had a great first touch. And I thought he was injured as well there. I thought, oh no. But thankfully, I think all our players are okay.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We're always worried about that because it's been one of those seasons. But there is an argument. If we do finish second, there is an argument that you could make, and I don't think a lot of people will like it, but you could make an argument that this second place finish might be the most impressive of the lot if you consider everything he's had to deal with. If you consider the other teams that have been through this type of injury list and where big teams and where they've finished up. City will argue this is their season where they've gone through it, but they've had half the injuries that we've had. They just had a big injury to a big player. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of the totality, and we've had big injuries to big players too, Saka, Havertz, do you know what I mean? So like when Liverpool had it, they fell out of the Champions League. Even with Klopp, and then they had another season where they had it, and they needed Alisson to get them in the Champions League because of a last-minute header. It was right borderline, and we don't know yet. We're still a little bit to go, but Mourinho's really.
And just 1 second, you talk there, but look at Gabriel. Gabriel's probably one of our biggest losses at such a crucial time, and to have Kibio come in and do what he's done, it's almost as if we haven't even missed it. You feel like Gabriel's still there. That's how good Kibio has been. That's an incredible performance from him as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting on Kivior because I think we've all been I definitely have been quite critical of Kivior on here at times, especially as a centre-back. I've kind of been more understanding of him at left-back because when he's filled in there, I felt he's done a decent job, and also I'm very aware that it's not his chosen position. But he's finally playing in because when he's played at centre back, if I'm not mistaken, he's played quite a lot of right centre back as well because we haven't had someone to fill in for him. So in a couple of years ago, I want to say we went to like Newcastle away and played him at right centre back and there was a period of time where we dropped Rob Holding and we were playing him at right centre back. So this is the first time I feel like he's had a prolonged period at left centre back, and he's definitely improving with each game. And I completely get why Mikel Arteta's playing him in every game. Like just get used to playing as a partnership. Do you know what I mean? But they have an amazing record together, Saliba and Kivior, which is really encouraging.
Unbeaten. They haven't.
Yeah,
lost.
There you go, unbeaten. Yeah. And I still have some hesitation over his speed on the ground a little bit. And I think even once in this game, I saw someone go past him. I was like, okay, so he's not quite got the speed that Gabriel's got. But what I'm quite encouraged about is he looks physically stronger. He looks a lot more confident on the ball, and he's not making those those sort of silly errors that he used to make that would often cost us something. You know, his positionally, he seems way better. And I really think Saliba's sort of taken on that mantle as the leader of the defence as well, because that was really Gabriel's role, wasn't it? I'm the leader, I'm the more experienced one. But you can tell Saliba's kind of taken that on, and he's really encouraging Kiwior. But as a collective, Kiwior and Lewis Skelly is quite an inexperienced left side. So it's really encouraging, James, to see that against, you know, a team like, you know, Real Madrid with a plethora of options going forward, that they really weren't very troubled. And PSG are going to be another level, no doubt about it. But that is quite encouraging, James, isn't it? Because I don't think I could foresee that when it happened.
Yeah. I mean, you know, rewinding back to that Real Madrid game, if we can, just quick, they're the most potent strike force in the world. What was it, 67 goals or something they'd had in all comps before we went and played them? And I mean, before the game yesterday, I don't know if Neil, you were watching over here on the coverage on the TV. Obviously, Liverpool-Leicester was the second game, and us versus Ipswich was the first one. And I know I've been critical about most of these media personalities and the channels over here in this country, but they started the programme, I think, here at 1, before kickoff over here was at 2. And if they did 15 minutes on Arsenal-Ipswich, it'd have been generous. I don't have the exact time figure that they gave, but they just spoke about Liverpool winning the league, Arne Slot, Trent, Van Dijk re-signing his contract. It was 45 to 50 minutes of Liverpool guff and then 10 minutes of Arsenal. And they mentioned Kiwior and Carragher and Roy Keane and the others were all sat there, and they said, look, they're like, we got to throw our hands up. When we saw that Gabriel got injured, we were like, Real Madrid are going to absolutely batter these, especially with it. They were like, this guy has got a ricket in him. He's a liability. And they said, got to hold our hands up. They said, he's been fantastic. He's been absolutely fantastic. And I do agree. I mean, yeah, there's still pace, you know, frailties there and everything else, but he's been absolutely brilliant in there. And you got to keep, like, not that we have many options at centre back anyway, especially with Calafiori injured. But yeah, like you said, let him keep playing as many games as you can and get familiar, you know, get more and more confident, because he's growing each and every game. I mean, yesterday, in terms of the only real threat that they had, which was from that Hurst when they punted that long ball, that was an Arteta absolutely levered Saliba for it. He ballisted Saliba for it, didn't he? Well, because he kept backing away, and then the guy managed to cut in and had a shot that obviously went wide. But there was so many times there where Saliba could have engaged and maybe stopped that and everything. But yeah, the way that he let him carry on going and then he skinned Saliba to get the shot away, Arteta was fuming with him. But yeah, no, Kiwior has been absolutely brilliant, and we need him to be, because like Neil said, Gabriel, if you really want to argue with it, has been was, you know, some people's player of the season, and I can't disagree with them. He's been absolutely fantastic, and he's such a big, you know, not just like a physical presence, but he's a big character in that dressing room. Yeah. And what I do like about him, okay, he can't do it as much at the moment because he's got his leg in the, you know, in the protecting and all the brace and everything. But I remember there was a point in the season where, I don't know if it was injury or it might have been suspension or he was being rested, but there was a game where he didn't play and Kiwior did. And he ran on the pitch. There's that photo of them together, isn't there, where he's hugging him in his jacket. I'm like, that's something that I love about Gabriel as well, is that he's for the collective, and him doing that to Kiwior, probably, as well as the fans and the manager appreciating what he's doing, seeing his teammates embrace him like that, especially the guy that he's, you know, replacing per se. It's massive for him. But yeah, no, he's been great. He's been really, really great, Kiwior.
And it's not like we don't have other options. We could put White back there. We could put White at centre back and put Saliba at left side. I mean, it's not a huge change. Saliba plays left side for France. You know, it's not. You know, logically, I actually thought we were going to do that for the first leg of Real Madrid. To be honest, I thought that was probably what was going to happen. But obviously, Ben White has had a lot of in and out of the squad. He's not really shown himself to be fully fit. And I think once he'd got Saliba and Kivior in games together, and you could tell Kivior was improving. He probably didn't want to adjust and change that. So now I don't see him changing it. I know a lot of people have mentioned Calafiori, but have we seen Calafiori at left centre back this season? I don't think we have we? I think he's solely been playing mostly at left back, hasn't he?
If it has, it was fleeting,
like
because we're all sat here going, don't really remember it, but then again, that's another one for me. I know people go on about Calafiori, and especially as far as where I'm concerned, they think I'm very, very horrible about Calafiori and about what I say about him and everything else. And for me, I'm like, look, like Neil said there, Havertz, no matter how hard he's working, when he comes back, you're not automatically playing that spot, son. You got to earn it. And that's how I am with Calafiori. Even at left back or centre back, I'm like, you're not getting in over Lewis Skelly for me at the moment, and you're not getting in over Kivior at the moment. So I'll be grateful when you come back, and I know that you've got qualities there that we'll need. You know, some of the goals that Calafiori scored this season, I don't think he scored a crap one. Every goal that he's scored's been arguably a banger of some form. But yeah, I'm like, you got to earn your space, because the guys that are in there at the moment, don't take them out. Don't knock them whilst they're high. You know, keep them going.
Well, with Calafiori, you got to prove you can keep yourself fit, mate. Like, you've got to prove.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't remember a 6-week period where he's kept himself fit. So, you know, you're not gonna hold down a position with that. And I said this a while ago. I think you all did, but I remember saying this to my brother a couple of months ago. I think it was a while ago. It was after the Everton 0-0 home draw, and when Lewis, I think it was one of Lewis Skelly's first starts, and I went, I'll tell you what, no one's going to take his position. It doesn't matter wherever he plays, Lewis Skelly. He's going to take whoever's position it is, and if he stays at left back, Calafiori's got no chance of getting himself in there. Not as a regular starter. It's just sometimes players are just too good. I mean, I think we're at that level with Lewis Skelly now, aren't we? You're just kind of at that level where you're
talking about leading the back lines. I must say, against Real Madrid, even though Saliba and everyone was in there, and he had that one little mistake, in terms of all of them in that back four, I thought that Real Madrid away in the Bernabeu, I thought he led that back line. I thought he stood out over all of them. And he's the youngest, most inexperienced in that competition. And he just treated it like it was a playground. He just took the complete mick out of their fans, out of the players. Yeah.
They had no idea who he was before they started. I guarantee you half that team didn't know who he was. And Bellingham knew who he was, but all Bellingham did was basically just try to foul him like he did to everyone for 180 minutes. But then all the others just tried to do it too. But he was doing stuff that he does at youth level against Real Madrid, just driving through like 4 or 5 of them. And he's just so strong. But I think more than his football is his character, really. I think when you've got a character like that, they don't come along that often. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes characters get built. Like Saka, you can tell Saka's just got this aura about him that he didn't have when he was 18. Let's be honest, he was fantastic, but he didn't have that. He was a shy, timid kid. You were like, oh, well. And now Saka's got this. He's like, Carvalho, you touch me, you see what happens here. Let's be honest, 4 or 5 years ago he wasn't doing it. Lewis Skelly would do that now. Right now he'd do it. And I don't think I don't think I've seen an English youngster at Arsenal at this age ever this good. I don't think I've ever seen it. It's not existed in my lifetime. As Neil, you've supported a hell of a lot longer than me, Neil. But you might go, oh no, I remember Adams or whatever. But for me, I have never seen it. Not with Saka, not with John. My brother said Wilshere. I said, okay, yeah, Wilshere was fantastic. But there's something about the character of Lewis Skelly that he seems to feed off of it. Like some people get affected by it in a negative way, but he seems to just, it doesn't matter, negative, positive, he just seems to unravel in it and just be like, oh, this is my moment kind of thing. He is just unbelievable. He's going to be a captain, I think. He's just such a good player, but such an amazing character when you watch him. I think Timber spoke about him, didn't he, offline, like the other day, pre Ipswich, and he said, I was good as an 18-year-old at Ajax. Like, I was very, very good. He said, I was nothing like this guy. Like, no way, near. Like, and obviously that's very humble of him to say, because I think Timber's fantastic, but there is something about him where you're just like, I've never seen this before. I don't know what we're looking at here. I don't know. This is new ground for us, even as supporters. We see everyone come through. You could argue the Cesc Fabregas is, but in terms of English talent, I'm like, I don't think I've seen it. I genuinely don't. I don't think it's going overboard. I think Ian Wright compared him to Rooney, didn't he? Like, he was like a bit like Rooney, but that wasn't an Arsenal player, so I can't really compare it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I agree with you, James. He led it all, didn't he?
Yeah. Sorry to jump in because I know you just asked Neil, but I'll add that. I'll throw. I know you love questions, Neil, so I'll throw another question at you because again, like Jack said, you've got the experience over us two in terms of people that you've seen, but. Fabregas, yeah, I do agree with you, Jack. But then again, he was, not English.
Yeah.
But Wilshere for me as well. It's a good comparison. But then for me, with Wilshere, correct me if I'm wrong, I still feel that he was phased and like sort of had a staggered sort of way in. Lewis Skelly's like, don't phase me. Play me in all the games. Play me in left back. Play me in a 6. Play me in a centre. He's like Saka really when he first come in, started at left back. Played in the midfield, then moved there, then moved over there, right wing back, playing this side. I just think to myself, out of all the time, and I've done nearly 28 to 29 years of watching them since 95. So I haven't seen anybody that's come in and cemented the first team place and then bang, and I mean, Ashley Cole, I know a lot of people are making the comparison because they're playing the same sort of position, but you got to remember that the level of defender that Ashley Cole come into, I mean, this isn't a bad back five that we've got now, but Ashley Cole was brought up, before even Sol Campbell got in there. He had Adams, he had Keown, he had all these established big time players, and also we were arguably the best side in the country at the time. Lewis Skelly, okay, I like to think that we're not winning the league this season, sadly, but we are one of the best teams. We're not the best team, we're one of the best teams, but I just think the way that he's come in and the minutes that he's playing, and he just doesn't look out of place at all. But yeah, Neil, what about you? Do you think you've ever seen anybody?
Yeah.
I would go. It's probably just to compare him with Adams, because Adams for me is. There's obviously some greats that I've seen in my time. I remember my first favourite player was Liam Brady in the 70s, but Brady, yeah. I think Adams was the one that made me kind of respect that someone who's a teenager. I mean, he's won as captain 3 titles in 3 different decades. And I don't think there's a player on the earth, or not in England anywhere, that's done that. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but I don't know if there is anyone like that. And I remember his interviews, even before he won it in '89, and how he was just so super confident. And he kind of MLS rings a bell like that he's got that almost that super confidence, but not in an arrogant way. I can't explain it. He's not arrogant. He's just very self-assured. And Adams was very much like that. The difference between, I think, Adams and Skelly, where you can put Skelly on maybe a slightly higher pedestal. Look, he's not won anything yet, and he's not captained yet. Adams did all of that right from the beginning. Right from the start as a teenager, Adams captained that side, and he won it as captain in '89. So, look, it's difficult to compare the two, plus 2 different eras, different types of football. But Adams probably wouldn't have been able to play different positions, whereas Skelly can. I think you could put Skelly at number 9, he'd still do a good job. I really believe that.
Well, even in this game, Neil, where did he play? Played at left back, 6'8", did he? Against
It doesn't matter, does it? And it's just his bravado. I don't see it as arrogance. A little bit of cheekiness. I mean, even with the Real Madrid, this is at their manner. To finish after the match to war when he was being subbed. I don't know what it was, but he was doing that he was telling them, see you later. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And giving that right. He's just very super confident and he knows what he can deliver. But he has grown up so fast. I think it was, I don't know whether I mentioned it on the group chat. I said, to me, he's the leader of the back four. James, you talked about it earlier, but I really have believed that despite Timber, despite Gabriel, despite Saliba, he's the one that's been there for years. It's like they're all the new boys, and they're showing him. You got almost like his mirror image on the other side with Timber. But I think he's even, I shouldn't say this, I mean, Timber's fantastic, but I think Skelly's on a different level even from him already. He's that good. He's one of these players that if he's fit, he plays. I don't care. I don't care who else you've got in that team. I really don't care. You could have a clone of Maldini. I don't care. He stays out. Skelly's in for me all day long, and it's just the way he even conducts himself with interviews. He has grown up so fast. Now, this is my worry about, and I've been saying this about a lot of our players. This is why I'm not saying I'm a trophy hunter, but this is why we have to win silverware, because we need to keep players like him, because we need him for the future as well. You know, not just for now, but the next five, I'd say 3 to 6 years. And we can't be losing players like Skelly, Ethan Nwaneri, you know, even Nathan that came on, he could have scored. That was, you know, first touch in his career as a senior. He could have scored first touch. You know, we got some outstanding youngsters coming in. We've got to win this trophy this season, and I think then we've cemented our future as well in these kids. They are superb, and I think we're very fortuitous as well, to be fair.
Yeah, look, he saved us fortunes as well, because look, Mikel Arteta's got a left-back fetish. We all know he has, and we've decided to bring one through the youth system, so that will save us on that. Stop buying them now, Mikel. Stop buying left-backs, please. But yeah, you've said it all. He's fantastic. Just got to keep his feet on the ground, hasn't he? He's got everything. Just keep his feet on the ground. Don't do what Wilshere did, to be honest, because, you know, like, Wilshere's fantastic, but there was, you know, there was some off the field stuff early on that I don't think necessarily was the reason that it didn't pan out for him. I think injuries were a big part to play in that, and obviously that's a big part of it, but I don't think it helped. You know, I don't think it helped. I'd rather keep him as he is, which would be very, very nice. Obviously, he mimics Saka in the sense that he comes in through at left back and maybe he's playing at a different position. But like you said with Ashley Cole, James, it's hard to compare because Saka came into a team that was basically mid-table. So, you know, this team's obviously fighting for, you know, major honours up there. So I don't know which one's harder. I think it's interesting. Saka kind of carried the team from moment one, didn't he? This guy's come into an area that's got tons of players that Mikel Arteta's bought, tons on high wages, all in his position, and he's just seen them all off, and, you know, very, very quickly. So they're both very, very impressive, but character-wise is very, very unique, I think, for Lewis Skelly, an 18-year-old. Seems very, very confident, extremely he just believes in everything. He can do anything. You can tell he just believes it, like spitting water at Real Madrid crowd and all that sort of stuff. It's just he just loves it. He just wants more of it, doesn't he? He just embraces all of it. It's just, as an Arsenal fan, it's brilliant to see. And to be fair, some journalists I don't necessarily always respect have said some really nice things about him recently, so fair play to them for that. I think we're just seeing it, and he's England's number. I mean, he's England's left back and Arsenal's left back, and at the start of the season I don't think any of us considered him being anywhere near the first 11. So it is an incredible rise, like you said, maybe even faster than the Saka's, to be fair, which is quite incredible. Sorry, Neil, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say about Ashley Cole. Look, Ashley Cole's a tremendous player. I mean, I hated after what he did. It was very difficult to like him, but you cannot forget what he done and how he was. Incredible. I think you've said it, Jack. You said that he's probably still that best in that position. He's still one of the best players at Arsenal. So, you know, you can't take that away. He was tremendous. But not only did he have great players alongside him, he had great players in front of him as well, which probably helped his job. I'm not trying to take away anything he did, because he was great. But we were an incredible team. It's so difficult to then say, well, you know, choose him, because I think Skelly, even though, like you guys have said, you know, he's coming to a team which isn't bad. Of course, it's not. We could be on the cusp of creating history that no other previous Arsenal team have done and win the biggest trophy in Europe. We've never done that in our history. So he's not coming to a bad team, but we haven't done it yet. But, you know, and I just feel that Ashley Cole had just like an amazing, very unique team to play alongside with. Would he have done the same if he had the team that Saka came into? Like you said, he carried the team with Emil Smith-Rowe. Emil Smith-Rowe and Saka, that's why we created the song for the two of them. Yes,
they really did.
They carried the team as youngsters, as teenagers, literally. But I think Skelly probably does deserve as one of those the mantle of one of those unique English players that is very, very, very special, very special. And the amount that we heard about Gascoigne, I want to hear the same about Skelly.
Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully he can win a lot more and achieve a lot
without the off the field stuff as well.
Yeah, off the field stuff.
I mean, he's so grounded. Again, the game over here was on TNT, and people know my views about McCoist, know my views about McManaman. Neil's a bit more. I can give Rio somewhat slack just for what he's done as a player. You know, I respect him as a footballer, but he is a bit of a wanker as a pundit per se, if I could throw that word out. And they said, didn't they, that they were like, you know, before the game. They've said, McCoist was like, I saw the picture of him on the steps on his phone laughing and joking. And Rio Ferdinand was like, I was down there. He went, I think his mum and that went. But he said, he was FaceTiming his nan. They're like, you know, they said he's 18 years old, just being like, I'm at the bloody Bernabeu. You know, I mean, I'd be like that at 34. Yeah. But I could just think, you know, think to yourself at 18, you know, I used to play in here on FIFA. Like I'm in here in real life. I used to be a pixelated version of myself playing in here, but now I'm doing it. And like we said, he bossed it, and out of that whole back four, he was absolutely superb. He was superb. I mean, we can't even think of any more words to describe him. Keep going. Just keep going. And like Neil said, they deserve the silverware. They deserve it for what they've done.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. But the foul on Saka's dreadful. I mean, Davis, is it? I don't know. He seemed like he just wanted to get out of the game, but it's a disgusting tackle. And what there are special kind of stupid fan bases when they boo the player that almost gets his leg broken. And then they had a chance to watch it. I thought at half time they're all going to watch it, right? Because you watch incidents, you look at your phone, and they booed him in the second half as well. And I'm like, okay, you just go down in the championships and stay down there, and maybe go down to League One, and that's where you should hang out, and then play against a local dog and duck. You know, that's what you're made for, really. I mean, if you're going to have that level of IQ, it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's a dreadful challenge. He's not gone for the ball and got unlucky or anything like that. The ball's no way there. It's an awful challenge, and fair play to, I mean, not really fair play to Kavanagh, because I hate the guy, but he brought his red card out quicker for Declan Rice when he toe-nailed it, didn't he? So I'm not going to say fair play really there, but what we're thankful for here is when as Saka's ankle rotates, I don't think he would have been able to carry on for the 20-25 minutes that he did if it was an ankle issue, and it looks like they were icing his Achilles, which seems like it's just a big impact issue. So hopefully Neil, he's going to be okay, but it's a dreadful challenge, isn't it? I mean, I don't really know what more there is to say on it. Straight red, dreadful challenge. Don't want to see that guy playing the Premier League again, because he's not good enough to, really.
We've had some bad ones against us, and with really fatal results, haven't we? Really, Eduardo and Diaby, etc. Possibly could have been, you know, Ramsey as well. Ramsey kind of resurrected his career, but I'm just wondering what he could have been if he hadn't had that injury as well, because it affects you mentally, doesn't it? Of course it's going to see that kind of leg break. But, you know, that was just disgusting. And we've had a few more attempts, haven't we, in recent times? You know, Odegaard could have been done by that idiot at Man City. And again, also the same within 10 seconds, Rice as well. I think he tried to destroy. And you just knew it. I mean, bless my mum. I was watching my mum, and she goes, "They're just going for Saka because he's so good, isn't he?" I went, "That's right, mum. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They can't beat him footballing wise, so they're just going to try and take him out physically." Absolutely disgusting and abhorrent challenge from him. The way he came off, like doing that and applauding you. It just makes me go and play with Stoke, and you two teams can kill each other. Just go ahead. Just play each other every week and end up with no players at all, because that's what you deserve. You know, as I said, I always say, with all due respect to that, I'm not giving this team any respect. No, not teams like this. No chance. Especially with the fan base booing him constantly. You've got to remember, he's arguably England's best player, and you're sitting there booing him like that. Yeah, all right, whatever. It just incensed me, but that was definitely a straight red. Thank God he's okay. I was he played on obviously for a little bit longer, didn't he? And then he came out again. But then all of a sudden you're watching in these pictures with him with ice all over. And I know you said on the chat, well, you know, it's in a position where it's not a worry, which is great. But for someone who doesn't know what that's all about. You're like, why is he in eyes? Well, no, it's quite scary. It's quite a scary thing to see. But thankfully, I think he's going to be all right. But he might not have been. And that's the thing. And he's just come back from a bad injury. Yeah. And then to have to go through that again, what does that do to someone's mind? But do you know what I love about this guy? Even after the injury, all right, he didn't put the ball in the net, but his attitude, we were just talking about Miles Lewis-Skelly, but look at Saka's attitude. I just love the fact Saka is made of something really unearthly, unworldly, really. Because if you think back at that Real Madrid game where he did that stupidness with the penalty, but then it didn't perturb him. He could have been head down. What have I done? I've let the team down. God, is this going to give Real Madrid the window to come back? No. He just goes and scores one of the best goals I've ever seen.
He's got an amazing character, hasn't he?
What's he made of? The European Championships where he was absolutely destroyed by idiots with disgusting, abhorrent abuse. And what does he do? He comes back next season and scores penalties for fun. It's like, mate, this guy is something else. So thankfully he's okay, because you know what? One thing I forgot to mention. We talk about peaks, and we always seem to peak at the wrong time. I think we're actually peaking at the right time for a change. And that might be a good omen for the Champions League. Obviously, the Premiership's gone, but for the Champions League at least. And I think all the players, we just seemed, like I said, in Ipswich, we thought we could have had a real issue with a hangover, but they look really up for it. They look buoyed. Yeah. To go from one of the greatest stadiums in the world to Ipswich, that's a difficult adjustment, isn't it, for anyone, right? And look how they played. It's brilliant. So I think we're peaking at the right time, so that could be a good omen for us. And things are looking good. Things are looking good, guys.
Yeah. And then in the second half, it was really just a training game, James, wasn't it? I mean, we got 2 more goals. Nice finish from Trossard. Good to see Ethan get one. I think that was one of the things I mentioned when he came on. I was like, I think he looks like he needs a goal. He looks a little off confidence, Ethan. Not quite going past people as fluidly as he was maybe a month ago. I don't know if I'm reading too much into that. His game time's been quite dramatically reduced in recent weeks, especially in the big games. I don't think he saw the pitch against Real Madrid at all, did he? In either tie, which I'm sure he would have been slightly disappointed of, especially with us being, quite comfortable, especially in the second leg. But I know it deflected Ethan Nwaneri's one, but I think that I'm quite, encouraged by that, because, it only takes one injury or something like that. I mean, it's Saka and he's starting again, and we need him. We're going to need him. It's one of those seasons where we need absolutely everyone, right? And Ethan, I know he's only 17. He's got a lot to learn. He's going to progress so much over the next 12 months. I think he's not quite, he's a completely different type of character, Lewis-Skelly. Talent-wise, I think he's right there, but I also think he's about 6 to 12 months behind Lewis-Skelly physically. Like, if you look at Lewis-Skelly physically, he's about 6 to 12 months behind. Don't know if you'd agree with that, James, but second half was like a training game, which is perfect, isn't it, really? Yeah, and the subs that come on, happy that they come on when they did, and they all look great. I mean, Kieran Tierney, 100 games for Arsenal. It's taken a long time to get to it. You'd think that Kieran Tierney played 100 games. You'd have thought Kieran Tierney played 100 games for Arsenal years ago, wouldn't you? But it just shows how quick football can go and how cutthroat football can be. I mean, this guy, when Arteta first come in, you're going, well, that's your left back for 10 maybe 12 years. I remember sitting on here countless times, especially with Neil down there going, this guy's the future captain of this team as well, let alone starting left back, and for 10, 12 years, this guy's your captain. And it just shows how quickly everything can change. But Butler, when he come on, really, really happy for him. Like I said, there's obviously that big rumour where Ben Napper and Wilshere now are at Norwich. And maybe they were like, we'll give you a go against Ipswich, because that's who you're going to be playing next season. That's your big derby next season when you're up front, probably for Norwich. But like Neil said, first touch, nearly scored. A very good save from that keeper, to be fair. But he did really, really well. And our fans, obviously, when they come on, it was funny, wasn't it? They were saying, we're on the piss if Butler scores, and then we're on the piss if Sterling scores. All of it. I mean, even in the Bernabeu,
Like they were, like you've said and Mike has said, we're very, very accommodating to away sides. We put you in a nice little plush corner, great view where you can see everything, no pylons in your way, no bloody nets in your way.
Yep.
You're not like, you haven't got to walk up.
It's a disgrace this is still allowed. I have to say, I don't know why it annoys me so much when I see it, and I'm not even going to the games anymore. It should not be allowed. It's allowed in the Premier League with Newcastle.
And cup games, Jack. Cup games. We give them the whole behind a goal. You basically get a whole section behind a goal at Arsenal for the cup games because they take the allocation away from certain sections of that. So, I think we're way too over accommodating, to be honest. I think we should swap it, but we'll see. But and all you could, the Bernabeu. Yes, it was allowed to begin with, but the minute we started scoring and they knew that they were on. They were on to a loss. All I could hear was them Arsenal fans. That Thierry Henry chant that they were doing obviously with Neil with the signed kit behind him. That was so loud for Thierry. I don't even think Thierry Henry was part of him. It was like, is CBS in there? Is he on the touchline doing it for them? But I think he was in the studio. But that Thierry Henry chant was absolutely ringing round the Bernabeu. And then yesterday, obviously the Arsenal in the Bernabeu, Tottenham. Watching Emmerdale chant become, Arsenal in the Bernabeu, Ipswich Town are going down. They swapped it for them, obviously, when they were booing Saka, and they just were singing whatever they wanted. When that game got to 3-4-0, like you said, they were so loud in there. And I've got a mate of mine who's a Ipswich Town home and away season ticket holder, and he said, not only are you the best team that I've seen, he said, you are the best fans. He said, you guys were absolutely brilliant compared to what we've had down here. So, nice. And he went, there are a few numpties. He said that I don't know how anyone can think that ain't a red card on Saka. Yeah. I mean, the guy at first, when he tried to appeal it, on reflection in the end, I know, Neil, you said he was clapping and everything when he come off and stuff, but he did apologise when he walked off and everything. He knew deep down, he was like, I'll try and see if I can get this over to... But there's no way that's being overturned. But fans and everything, brilliant yesterday. So fair play to everybody.
Yeah, our away fans have always been fantastic. It does really gripe me though when I see them, sat near the moon when we give them red carpet treatment. It really bugs me. There's some sort of law on it in England, so I don't know how Newcastle get away with it. But as Newcastle are getting stronger, there needs to be a collective effort to stop that. I mean, we should have stopped that anyway. But I've been to Newcastle 2 or 3 times in James's Park, and it's a disgrace where they put you, to be honest.
Well,
it's
like
a joke
you
of
said,
a stadium as it is.
Yeah, there's meant to be like rules and things that need to. But I'm like, well, you got people that don't adhere to any rules in the Premier League. Let's have you guys that are there's guys that are 4-time champions on the spin, but you think they've been adhering to the rules? Come on, behave now. But this is the thing with Arsenal. We're that club that try and we'll do the right and fair way. We'll do the nice and fair. So
sometimes it's
class. Yes. And we always will be. That FA Cup thing or Cup thing, we've been doing that for donkey's years, where literally the whole bottom part of the stand, that side, is given away to away fans. I remember when I used to go there back in Highbury days and I used to watch it on TV, it was like, why have the FA fans got so many? Oh, it's a cup game. It's like, so what? I mean, we can't go. Some of us can't go then. We do all of that. Do other clubs do that? I don't know. We're just class. We are. Never be taken away from us, ever. Always.
Yeah. No, we are. We absolutely are. It still frustrates me, but we absolutely are. And, look, easy, very, very comfortable win, 4-0 win. It leaves us, Forest play tomorrow, if I'm right, against Spurs away. They could well win that. I'm sure Tottenham are dreadful in the league. They're kind of just focusing on the Europa League. But I think it leaves us... even if they win that, I think we're 6 points clear with a superior goal difference. So I guess 7 points clear. Yeah,
it's 7 points to secure Champions League.
7 points to secure Champions League. So if we win against Palace, fingers crossed we do. We're 4 points away from securing Champions League, and so that's
it doesn't matter because we're going to be the holders anyway, Jack. It's fine. Okay.
So
we're in the Champions League next year as the winners of it. So yeah.
So before we go, though, we got 5-1 against Madrid. I think some of us could felt we would have beaten Madrid, but to beat them in such an emphatic fashion, home and away, because let's be honest, away it was 2-1, but it could have been more. I think it flattered them, to be honest. We weren't creating as many chances as we were in a home game, but they really didn't create anything beyond their goal, which Saliba basically handed to them on a plate. We kept them at arm's length almost all the time. They had a couple of chances late on, Hendrick past the post and stuff like that, but can you remember chances that went Mbappe's way and Vinicius's way and Rodrigo's way? I can't remember them getting near it, and that's really encouraging, because whatever Madrid are right now, and obviously, they might be going through a little transition with manager and stuff like that. That front four, they're deadly against, almost every team. So to keep them at bay so quite comfortably over 180 minutes is really, really impressive, And I think, two things I'd say about this game. One, the third Champions League semi-final in our history, right? Am I right? Which is huge, You don't win anything for that, but that's history in itself, really. And the other thing, I think Madrid handled themselves dreadfully. I really do. I think some of their players just, and I think Bellingham's right at the top of that list, to be honest. I really do. Cavallo on the sidelines and other players were just as bad, but I think Bellingham was really, really poor, petulant poor. He went massively down in my estimation after these 180 minutes. I was annoyed with him after the first leg, to be honest, because I felt he should have been banned. But in this one, he was really petulant towards Lewis Skelly, towards Rice. Let alone those are his English sort of his players that play with him and know him quite well. But I thought it was quite pathetic from him, and it shows sort of what sort of character he is, especially as he's won it last year. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not winner's mentality. That's just petulance and childish, really. So I thought that, but we more on that. Just fantastic, Neil. Semi-final. Honestly, what are you gonna do? I don't know what to do for myself for the next 10 days. I didn't know what to do myself for the Madrid one, to be honest. I was at work watching it, and I was like, I can't focus. I'm at work. I can't speak to anyone. I'm shaking here. We're 3-0 up, for crying out loud. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. But PSG are a whole different prospect, Neil, aren't they? And but it's fantastic to go into it. 4 teams left in it, obviously. PSG, Barcelona, Inter, and we're right in there, Neil.
Number one, when it comes to any cup games, any cup ties, I think it's always 50-50. I think form goes out the window a little bit. Not from like when you got gargantuan differences between the two teams, but when it's like this, you've got to say that we've got as good a chance as any of the other three, as far as I'm concerned. I think a little bit more so personally, because out of the 4 left, maybe barring Barcelona in terms of where we finished in the table, we've been the most consistent in this whole championship. I think we've built for this competition, for the way we set up and the way we play. Maybe not so much the Prem, but definitely for the Champions League. And I truly believe that we are probably in the best position out of the 4. But I think we've all got a great chance. You can't say that, oh God, Barcelona are so amazing, they're going to win it without any problems, or Inter have been incredible, or PSG. I think we've all been good. I think we had slightly just a little bit, maybe shadow them a little, overstep them a little bit, and are just in front of them a tiny little bit. So I would say that we were favourites, but that's just me because I'm biased, and I know we're going to win it anyway, so that's fine. In terms of PSG, we've beaten them already. Don't forget that. We've already beaten them.
Different them, to be fair, but yeah.
No, they're different, but I'm just talking from a mentality point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From a mentality point of view, we've already got the scalp over them. And yes, I know after we took that lead that they were all over us. I know that the statistics don't lie, and I think they were overwhelmed us in terms of everything, really. And we might have been hanging on a little bit to keep that lead. But the fact is we have done them. Maybe that will encourage the lads a little bit going into the game. But I don't think they should worry about who they're playing. You've gone and taken on Real Madrid with a strike force which is probably the best in the world, and just nullified them. So why can't you do that with PSG? Just do more of the same. I think we play the same type of football. have that same type of confidence, which is going to be there. There's no doubt about it. What they did over 2 legs to beat them 5-1, you can't go better prepared into any game after that, can you? Really? You know, if you were to say, what would be the best thing for us to go into this game? You'd take Real Madrid, wouldn't you, all day long? And the thing about the 5-1, it could have been 8 or 9-1.
Yeah.
And it was
especially
only one.
That first leg, yeah.
Yeah, and I truly believe that Saliba gave them that goal anyway because he felt sorry for them. It wasn't a mistake. So I'll say that all day long, and I'll firmly believe that. So actually, if you think about the 4 times we played them in Champions League, they've had 1 goal against us gifted to them. That's madness. 360 minutes of normal play, and they have scored once against us. This is Real Madrid. What team has done that? What other team has done that? None.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. You
No, you make a great point. I just think, some people have downplayed it with, Real Madrid, they've been off, they are the champions of Europe. It's not like 3 or 4 years ago. And Real Madrid in the Champions League, especially when it gets to the knockout stages, whole different ball game. Do you know what I mean? If we were to play them in La Liga on a Wednesday night or something like that, we got a win there. When they get into the Champions League, I have seen them win so many Champions League when I thought they're not very good. And they've just gone and won it. When they beat Liverpool, last year when they won it, I was like, I don't think they're very good. They just go and win it because they have that aura and that ability to be able to do it. And big players, big moments. Sorry, James, go ahead.
No, you're spot on because it's the analysis from bitter ex-pundits and media and even just rival fans. I mean, I think there were more people that support the other teams watching it hoping that we'd lose than Arsenal fans that support us watching it. It was ridiculous, the amount of, these hate watch streams that people are doing.
Hilarious to watch.
To me, I'm like, well played on having your channel monetized and earning revenue, but you got to watch other teams to do it. You're not good enough at making content about your own club. You got to watch other ones.
I know.
To make money. I'm like, fucking hell, really? I'm like, is that the level that we're getting to? But yeah, I just wanted to say in terms of Champions League this year and just everyone that's downplaying it, right? Played the Europa League champions. Okay, drew 0-0, but played the champions of the Europa League, Atalanta. We've played the French champions. We've played the Italian champions. We've played the Ukrainian ones. We've played the Dutch ones. We've played the Croatian ones. People are making out like
Sporting won it last year.
Yeah. I'm like, people are making out that we've played shit. I'm like, no, we've made these teams look shit. That's the difference. I'm like, not even talking from being a biased Arsenal fan on an Arsenal podcast. In terms of what we've done in the league this year, look at all the draws we've had. We have been, nowhere near the level that we should be in the league. But for some reason, this year, this Champions League campaign, like Neil said, we are not messing around at all. We are a serious threat in Europe compared to probably how we are domestically. Not that we're awful domestically, we're second, but we are nowhere near. And like you said, having an aura and having a fear factor, I think PSG, as much as they're confident and everything, with that first leg being at Arsenal, again, if we can just do what we do and get another leg like we did against Real Madrid at home, go into that second leg with a lead, I'm so confident. I am really, really confident. And that's something that for me, Jack, I wasn't old enough to remember Parma. So I don't know Arsenal having any real European kind of pedigree. But this year, I'm like, no, we're going into Europe going, this is who we're slapping people in the face in Europe, which I've never seen us do. Apart, 2006, yes. I remember 2006 very, very well. But then ultimately we come up short. And again, we were quite lucky to get through that Villarreal game to get into that final. At the moment, we're dominating people. There's no luck to this. Is what I'm trying to say? Because people are saying this is a crap, like you said, this is an awful Real Madrid. Well, when Liverpool beat them 2-0 at Anfield, you weren't saying they were the shittest Real Madrid in history.
No.
You sat there over an island with your silly ears. You weren't saying Real Madrid were rubbish when you beat them 2-0. Yeah, they're all of a sudden they're crap. They're terrible now.
we're going to keep getting that crap from the media. And do you know what? I'm going to say something controversial. I think this team is probably better and more well equipped in terms of the way we play than even the 2006 team. Because like you just said, James, we were probably lucky against Villarreal in that semi-final. I know this is a really crazy thing I'm saying, because you've got to remember, we went into that 2006 final not conceding a goal with a makeshift back four. We had Flamini, was it left back or something?
Yeah,
crazy.
Left back, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that was an incredible thing, and we just fell short. But I just think that way we have dominated this whole competition, there's something about this team in the Champions League. It's not scaring any of the players either, none of them. And I think that they are so. I think we're ready. We're more than ready, and I think if we I'm happy to go with the team that we had against Ipswich, as you guys said, it was almost like a mock test with Partey being out. But you've got to remember, then we'll have Partey return for the second leg, and then then we're back to parity in terms of what we were against Real Madrid. So I think PSG should be fearing us, not the other way around. I really believe.
I think they do, Neil. I think they do.
Well, Enrique, I mean, in fairness, he was pretty glowing about us when we beat him.
Yeah.
So he's very aware that when he came up against us, we were very different to the other English teams he's come up against. The one thing I will say for PSG, since we've played them, they've obviously drastically improved. They've bought a lot of players, or certainly Kvara is one of their best players, I think, and they bought him in January. He's a fantastic player, and they already had some really, really tricky wingers, and Dembele and Doué, and Doué's got a lot better. I mean, he's really good, really, really good. He wasn't that good when we played against him. I don't think he even started, or maybe he did, but then I think it was Barcola up against him, from what I remember. But the one thing I would say is that in both their legs, they've shown the ability to come back from being down. You know what I mean? Like which is impressive. Ability to go to Anfield, at a deficit and come out winning. That they definitely got some character about them. So they're going to be much better, and they're much better set up. They play much better football than Real Madrid. Enrique's a much better coach, modern coach than Ancelotti is, who's more of an old school coach. So he's definitely they definitely set up very well, and they've got some real strengths. But we kind of over egged them physically in the home leg. They have a lot of really technical players in the midfield. We basically we just physically blew them away. The first goal was Havertz's header, win it over the goalkeeper. We were physically a lot stronger than them, and I think we can still be that. To be honest, if we play the way we can play, we can still do that. And they're very, very strong in a way where we're very strong. They're very, very strong in wingers, and we're, I believe, very strong at fullback areas. So it's going to be a really, really tough one. They're definitely a level way above Real Madrid for sure. A lot of people saying PSG are the best team in Europe. I mean, that's what a lot of people say, and since they've come into the knockout stages. But let's see. But they're definitely a level above. But we've got. Yeah, I think we may well set up like we did against Ipswich. To be honest, we may well set up like we did against Ipswich, and. We, like Neil said, we look very confident. We look very, very confident, and that's what you want to be. You want to be going into this, very, very confident and believing in yourself. And for some reason, when we play in Europe at the moment, we seem to show the best side of us. So let's see. I am nervous for it. Like, of course, how can you not be? You can not be for a knockout stage. Neil, you going? Ned James, you going? John said he's going. I think.
I'm going to the Palace game, and the ballot's opening for the PSG today. So I'm going to obviously enter it. Okay. Whether we win it or not, I don't know. Yeah, so that's the luck of the draw, and forget that one. So, but yeah, if I do, wow. But I was just so fortunate to get the Real Madrid team. If it just stays, the Real Madrid game, if it just stays at that, I'm over the moon to have been part of that. That was just insane. I would, you said you weren't even able to focus with anything even after that. I was buzzing even after the 3-0. Forget what happened at their ground. I was still buzzed and amazed at what we witnessed at the Emirates. Those 2 free kicks going to live in the memory forever. Yeah. Because that's something we don't see often from our players, let alone 2 in the space of 12 minutes. Even just to see 1. If it stayed at that 1, it would still be talked about and incredible. And don't forget Marina's goal, because I think that was outstanding, because that was world class as well. So, that was just a very, very special night, and to be part of it was just insane.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's like I was with your dad and John for the Barcelona game, and then John was trying to FaceTime you at that. So
yeah,
I've been so fortunate, to have been at both the greatest Spanish teams ever. So it's something nice to just to hold on to until your last breaths as an Arsenal.
This one's even better in a way though, because we lost that tie against Barcelona, didn't we? We lost the overall. Was it
tie overall? Yeah,
tie overall. So then that always kind of kicks in. I always think that was fantastic.
Right.
But yeah, of course, this is better because we followed through here and we did it again in the Bernabeu. So in that sense, that's a fantastic memory for you to have to be at a game like that. That's absolutely amazing. I mean, and you don't. I mean, I was just sitting on my couch, but even me, you get, you kind of go, wow, like that is really. And when the second free kick goes in, I don't think anyone knew what to do. To be honest, even on the pitch, they didn't know what to do. So
I think I said it. I don't know it was Michael's podcast. I can't remember whose podcast it was. I said I was just like a statue. Everyone was just going berserk because I couldn't actually believe what happened.
Yeah,
I had to turn around and say, the guy that I was with, he said, "Are you all right?" I went, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "I don't believe this is happening. This is not real. Because I've never experienced anything like this in my whole time as an Arsenal fan. Not like this. Against Real Madrid. This is ridiculous. It was madness. And I just think that we built, it's almost like, I'm not saying, look, no one deserves anything until you do it. And I'm not talking about entitlement either. But it would be kind of a little bit of a disservice, I feel, if we don't go on and win it now. I just feel that there's been some moments in this home competition that it's like, it's almost like it's written in the stars that we do it. And all the better if we, meet Barcelona in the final and do them again, just meet them again and get the revenge that we should have won it that year. We should have won it in 2006. We'll still go down as the greatest team ever to win it. So we have to win it now and get that off our kind of not a great thing to have a tag. We need to remove that tag. So we have won it.
See, Neil, I obviously, like I said, I was too young to remember Copenhagen, but where I'm ultra obsessive, I know quite a bit about the histories and everything. And look, there obviously last few weeks there's been a lot of stuff coming out about Kevin. After the Everton game, and BBC obviously made this documentary, and with the circumstances surrounding his death and everything, and the parallels there, it's PSG in a semi-final. And then we've potentially got a Italian club in the final to beat. And I look at it and I think, I know at the start before a ball was kicked, I know I backed them, but I've got a feeling that it is going to be my main club and one of my second teams in that final. And I think we'll do them. I do. I'm with Neil. I look at it and I just think you got to, I think we're going to follow through. I think we're going to do it. I really do.
You know what? Just to talk about the other side of the draw, I was convinced it was Barcelona in as soon as that draw was made, a couple of rounds back, to be honest, and a lot of people weren't. But the one thing I would say about the Inter draw, I didn't watch the games, but I did read a lot about the games and what happened in the games. Bayern created a hell of a lot in those games, even at Inter. And I was a little surprised by that because Bayern are, if we think we're injury plagued, they are injury plagued big time. Like they've got a lot of injuries, haven't they? And I know they're mostly defensive injuries, but they do have a lot of injuries. And I was a little surprised there. And the one thing with Inter and Barca is they are, unlike PSG, they are a real close title race, aren't they? Inter lost today to Bologna, I think, and they're like level with Napoli, and Barca, but they're ahead, but not by enough to be sort of saying they've won it yet. So they can't rotate at all. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the league games, PSG can. I mean, they got a couple of games before ours, but they literally, I saw they played at the weekend. They played like. Well,
they won the league like 3 or 4 weeks ago, didn't they? So they
so it plays into their hands big time. Yeah, so it's going to be really, really tough. Yeah, but I don't know. It'd be interesting because it doesn't sound like Jorginho's going to make it. But even if he did make it, I wonder what we would go with. Before this game, I was convinced that we would need Jorginho, but in terms of FPSG's midfield makeup, they're all quite little. You know what I mean? They're fantastic. They are so good technically. Vitinha and Neves, and they are Fabio Maurice. They're so good technically, but they're all little. And if you want to contrast that, the contrast is Bryce and Merino in it, really. I mean, there's physicality all over the place. Merino had 17 duels yesterday. It was twice more than anyone else on the pitch. He just wants a duel. I just wants a fight. I don't know. Before this, I was like, Jorginho would start. I think he probably still would start because it would keep everything the same, but it doesn't sound great on his health front because they're literally not giving any information on it, are they? They're like, well, I don't know, I'd have to speak to the doctor, it's a rib issue. It's very vague, so I don't know. If it's a rib fracture, then he won't make it, and if it's not a rib fracture, why is he out so long? So I'm kind of like, I don't think he's going to make it, but who knows. But boys, let's do a quick prediction for Palace before you go. James, what's your prediction at home to Crystal Palace? I think they drew at the weekend, and Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah. I'm going to go for Arsenal to win. I'll go 2-1 Arsenal, and I will bet. Let's go Odegaard. He needs a goal. Yeah, Martin Odegaard.
Hit the post today, didn't he? Bit unlucky with that one. Neil.
Why don't we hear James's PSG prediction as well? As I'm quite interested.
Oh, well, how do we do that? That's why I didn't do it. I don't know how.
Well,
we do it.
We're going to get together. Well, we've got a week. We've got a whole week between that game. So
that's true.
If we're doing
get
something
together, haven't we?
Yeah, if we do something post Crystal Palace, then
we might do. But I'm just interested.
If I'm not, okay, I'm going to say that we're going to beat. I think we're going to beat PSG 2-0 again.
Lovely. Yeah. That's what I want to hear. That's all I want to hear. Just want to see the confidence.
Just don't concede. I mean, Partey coming back for the second. I'm so glad that we've got that first leg at home, because, like I said, if you take a lead over there, don't give them a smidgen of anything to have them, lifted for that game. I'm like, if we go there, not necessarily saying, look, job's done from the first leg, and we can cruise it, because I'm like you, Neil. I was really worried when we went to the Bernabeu the other day that we're gonna, no, let's have them come to us and everything. But I was like, no, please play exactly the same as you play, and we did. And that's what I want to see in both legs of this. I don't want to, when Arteta has to be cute or clever and everything, like you said it, Jack, he's not very well versed in two-legged sort of situations. And it's like, no. The one plan that he's got, we always say he's got plan A, then he's got plan A, but with different players. I'm like, nail plan A, just nail plan A, and then we'll be talking. I'll be meeting you in the queue to get our photo with it, Neil. So yeah, don't worry about it.
Go on, Neil. What's your predictions?
Palace. I'll go 3-0 for Palace, but I think it's. Yeah, to be honest. Am I allowed to say this? My heart's on the PSG game. It's so difficult to think about Palace at the moment.
It's about keeping everyone healthy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just about keeping everyone healthy. And look, I don't want us not to win. We have to win, because that winning mentality helps so much. I can't see anything but a win. We're flying at the moment in terms of confidence. So I can't see anything but a win. I'll just sod it 3-0. And I'm going to say Martinelli again. I think he's going to score 3 and 3. Martinelli 3-0.
Like that, I said midweek. I felt
Jack, isn't it something that I don't know if it was true or not. I saw it on my phone the other day, and I was like, "Is that right? Isn't it? We've only lost 1 in 23, and that was the West Ham game. I think in the last 23
the one
games,
I went to. Flipping heck. Of course.
Well, a shoe in it.
Of course. We've found
worst
game of the season.
Yeah,
That's what it is. I said, my brother sent me a message. He went, "You coming back for the Paris one?" I went, "No way." "Oh, after last time." I went, "No chance. Not a chance, bruv." He said something about the away PSG one. And I went, "No, you go." I was like, "You go." I'm too nervous to even watch it from here, so I don't even know what to say at this point. But no, yeah.
But Partey will play. I think he might play a full game as well, because he's because
he's not going to play for 2 weeks. Otherwise,
he's going to play the first leg, so he will
definitely start midweek. Yeah,
exactly. So then we can have Marino back in his. I think it'll be all right. I think we'll do him 3-0. But as I said, my heart's mainly on the other one. And the other one, I was going to say exactly what James said. We just got to make sure they don't score. That's it. I mean, we need to get a couple of goals. But 100%, we got to keep a clean sheet at home, and I think we do that
against them.
It is very hard. But then we've got a damn good defence, Jack.
Yeah, if anyone can do it.
They haven't come across our defence yet. Well, they have already, and they lost 2-0. So they're going to come and see it again, and we're even better now. Yeah. Even despite with the lack of Gabriel. But I'm saying we're better in the sense that we're just so super confident.
Yeah, both sides have changed quite a lot, Neil. I mean, we had Havertz and Gabriel, but we also didn't have Odegaard and Lewis Skelly for that game. So it's like, it's different.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's hard to say.
I'm going 3-0 and 2-0, same as James for the PSG. I'm going 2-0 for that, and for that one, I'll say Saka because he's just got to.
Yeah. He's inevitable, isn't he? I'll go 2-0 midweek. 2-0 midweek, and hopefully we'll get back on so we can discuss the PSG one. But I'll go 2-0 midweek, Martinelli, and then we'll get back on. And I haven't thought about the PSG one, so I have, but
do one for Paris. We both have. Do one for Paris.
How can you not think about PSG? Of course you have.
I have. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a tough one. 2-1 Arsenal.
He might change after Palace. He might change it.
Yeah, right. You never know. Boys, it's been great. We're at Purely Arsenal FP on Twitter, YouTube, Purely Arsenal. Thank you. Sorry for the hiatus. I've been trying to do little short instant reactions so you still know where they are, but it's not quite the same. I know that.
Sorry, Jack, just quick as well, before we leave. Can I just say well done to Mike on his 100, the 100 episodes for Mike over on his channel. Yeah.
Arsenal above all.
Friend of the show. So, well played to Mike on 100 episodes.
So he doesn't need it, but listen to Arsenal above all. They're way more consistent than I am. And, fantastic.
They had Neil on it as well. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Neil's on it. We're all on there. Everyone's there. And we're giving predictions earlier than this one. So, they got better sound tune and all that sort of stuff on ours. Way more advanced technology. But Ant does a great job.
But Purely's the OG, Jack. Come on.
Yes. Yeah. We're old school. We're old school pen and paper type people. Absolutely.
Fifth best in the world, mate. We've been knocked off the top four, but we're still Champions League place, fifth.
Champions League qualification. We will take that. It's consistency right there. Boys, we're
the only one out of that top five that don't charge any of you. So just saying.
That's true. That is true. People need to give us more credit.
Don't try and sell your ball razors. Nothing.
Nothing. No adverts. No charge.
We talk bollocks. We don't sell bollocks. That's the rules.
Yeah. There's no Patreon here. You get all free. Don't you worry about it. We got you. We got you covered. Boys, it's been a pleasure. At Purely Arsenal FP, keep believing. Keep believing. Big things. Come on. Up the Arsenal, boys. Thank you.